Good evening. From the emotional ending of John Wick Chapter 4, Keanu Reeves talks about one of the biggest rumors about the John Wick franchise. If you're a fan of action movies, you've probably seen all of them, including the most recent epic, John Wick Chapter 4. And if you saw that heartbreaking ending, you might be thinking if this is really the last movie in the series, or if John Wick Chapter 5 will happen after all. There have been rumors that John Wick 4 might be the last movie in the series. This makes sense since the character of legendary assassin John Wick, also known as the scary Baba Yaga, seems to die at the end of Chapter 4, but fans shouldn't give up just yet because people in charge have said that the ending could still happen. There are many ideas about whether or not John Wick could come back. First, let me give you some background on the Wick saga, the behind-the-scenes saga. At first, it was announced that John Wick 4 and 5 would be filming back-to-back. However, once production started, longtime collaborators Chad Stahelski and Keanu Reeves, who are the driving forces behind the series, realized that filming 2 movies at once would be too hard for the cast and crew, because the ending of Chapter 4 was clear, they decided to end the series there. They were worried about everyone's health and that a 4th and 5th movie shot together might lose its impact because it would look too much like the 3rd. As Stahelski put it, you'd see John Wick 4 and John Wick 4 Part B, same camera, same colors, same action, same dance style, and the same plots. I didn't have time to let life affect me or bring it back, so I just thought it was A. The story was also a factor in their decision. Chad, Keanu, and the writing team realized that the story of John Wick would be most emotionally successful if they ended it with the 4th movie. Stahelski said, "We decided we wanted to tie everything together, and we were like, how do you give a proper goodbye? This is how they sold it to the studio at some point. This has got to end, man." The studio apparently wasn't happy with the decision at first, and Lions Game 8 scene shot to make it look like John Wick lives at the end of the movie, but Stahelski and Reeves were sure it was the end of Wick. After some test viewing, they were sure they had made the right choice. In a way, Keanu said that the whole point of the movie was for him to get his freedom, which is why the story was told. But wait, Keanu has also hinted that how it ends will depend on how the audience reacts and how much the fans love it, which means that Chapter 5 is once again a possibility. An absolutely huge first weekend with a huge opening weekend of $73.8 million in the US and $67.6 million in 71 markets abroad, John Wick Chapter 4 broke all records for the franchise. With numbers like those, it only makes sense to make more Wick movies, and the story could be changed to fit new plots. Lionsgate president says there is a theory that it might come back in a prequel form with Keanu Reeves playing a much younger John Wick. Joe Drake, you could definitely take that ending in different ways. Let's all take a short break here and then think about whether there's a plausible way to get into Chapter 5, but there's no guarantee. Okay, so that's not a no. In the end, I can't say for sure that there will be a John Wick Chapter 5, but let's take a look at Keanu Reeves' career so far, because let's be honest, who doesn't love looking at their own? That huge opening weekend for Keanu was his second best after Matrix Reloaded, which took in $91.8 million in its first weekend in the United States in 2003. It was also his second best live-action opening since he did the voice of Toy Story 4 and had a $121 million opening weekend in 2019. He is said to have been paid $15 million for John Wick 4. But what was even more crazy than the action was that Keanu spoke only 380 words throughout the whole movie. His longest line in John Wick 4 is, "You and I left a good life behind a long time ago, my friend." Which means that sentence paid $552,622, but that doesn't mean he didn't work hard for that money. There is a lot of action in this movie, according to Keanu. He said it had the most action of all the movies. Part 4 of John Wick was the hardest physical part one have ever had. They trained hard for 3 months on this movie, with Keanu improving skills he had learned in earlier movies like stunt driving. He said, "We took car driving to the next level, which I really enjoy," and he was often doing that crazy driving while reloading and firing his prop gun. He also trained with new weapons like nunchucks, which he said, in his usual humble way, was challenging. Plus, they had to work with animals like horses and do fight scenes while lashing out with water. It rained. Keanu was also involved in every step of pre-production. He and director Chad Stahelski oversaw 9-hour writing sessions with screenwriters Michael Finch, Shea Hatton, and Derek Kolstad, who acted out all the parts to keep the momentum going. The director and actor have worked together since Chad was Keanu's stunt double in the Matrix movies. They share a love of samurai movies, Sergio Leone westerns, and other movies with strong characters. Has helped them make so many great hits over and over again. Which gets me back to the John Wick franchise. The character of John Wick will be back, even though there won't be a 5th movie in the series. The first movie in the series is called Fall Arena, and it stars Ana de Armas as an assassin and ballerina who wants revenge after her family is killed by hitmen. The movie is currently in post-production, and it will be out in the summer of 2024. There will be more John Wick spin-offs as well. Additionally, it's important to note that any future John Wick movies will not feature the late and greatly missed actor Lance Reddick, though he will still be seen in the previously filmed drama Ballerina. As for Keanu, he will be very busy working on a huge number of exciting new projects, so keep your eyes open. First up is the possible follow-up to Constantine, which will be called Constantine 2 and will be produced by Warner Bros. Discovery and DC Entertainment. Since DC recently changed things, there have been reports that it might not happen after all. Keanu recently said that he's in talks with DC Studios and that the movie is still being planned. Finally, Keanu recently told Jimmy Fallon on The Tonight Show that there will be a movie based on the Berserker comic books that he created and wrote. I honestly can't wait to see all of those things. I don't know about you, but I'll be eagerly anticipating Keanu's next big releases in the meantime. Of John Wick 4's sad ending, it's true that Keanu Reeves isn't Big John Wick.